and Trioptical.
So, today we'll be talking about what we've been playing, some stuff in the news, some good news, some bad news. But, yeah, let's get to it. Who wants to go first with what they've been playing?
Sure, I can continue the PS2 extravaganza, which did happen. It's getting sort of bad. So
Just sort
Kinda
of.
was already bad.
Just sort of.
it
Now.
wasn't like, come on, 39 games for $26 is pretty good.
39 games. Who has
39
None of which,
time?
none of which you're gonna play.
Well, like 6
And-
of them are sports games, so you never finish those. So basically,
Uh-huh.
it's like the cat in the box. You can say that
Josh,
they're all finished,
Schrodinger's cat.
or you can say
What?
they're all not finished.
Are you really doing that right now?
Yep.
You really?
It was fun. So it was crazy because so 39 games I got, and then did I mentioned, no, I didn't. That was the day after. So the day after we recorded, I hit up the third GameStop in my area, the one to the west, the Western GameStop, and was
There's a
disappointed
Wicked
to
Witch
find that they had no PS2 games at all. So either they just, like, someone came in and said, "Oh my gosh, 70% off," and just took them all, or they're one of the I guess I wouldn't say prestige stores, but they're one of the stores is like, "Oh, we look nice and everything, so we're just gonna ship these to another store where they're more likely to be sold." But anyway, yeah, they didn't have any, and feeling like my trip was going to be wasted, I ended up getting a Rock Band 3 keyboard
Why?
because it was cheap. And I always wanted it, but then I came back and was like, oh, I don't have Rock Band 3.
Oh, God.
And found out that it's really expensive now. But anyway, yeah, so back to the PS2 thing. I started looking, because I saw all these games. I started looking at what other PS2 games can I get, just period. Not necessarily for that cheap, because now that I'm looking at it, I missed a lot of PS2 games, and so I was interested in saying, what's out there, what's available, and I found some I was interested in checking out. Aggressive Inline was the one I saw, and I was like, oh yeah, there are no more rollerblading games out there. And that also, like, I'm looking for Downhill Domination now, which is the only downhill biking game I can think of. But I haven't found that one yet. Eventually, I found out that there was a play and trade near the GameStop to the west, and so I went there. And since I had bought all these PS2 games, I started to get paranoid. It's like, what if my PS2 dies? And the backwards compatibility, that thing doesn't come out for the PS4.
Yes,
And I was like, oh man, it's like, should I get a backup? And my wife was like, yeah, you should get a backup. I was like, okay,
well,
I'm gonna
she's
go get
terrible
a backup.
influence.
And so at the play and trade, I found Drakengard 1, which is really expensive from what I saw online. It's like, oh, I want to try this one out. And also Aggressive Inline, and that was super cheap because no one wants it. And then I saw that they had one of the slim PS2s. It's like, oh, cool. It's like, I never had one of the slim ones. I think I'll pick this one up. So I asked the guy how much it was, and it's like, oh, $40 or something. It's like, and I asked him, it has all the cords and it's the original controller. It's like, yep. I was like, okay. So I got those 3 things. I came back, and the next day I decided to check out, like, test the slim, and found out that he lied. It does not have all the cords. And
Ooh.
they must not have checked it at the store, because it doesn't. There's apparently several different models of the slim PS2. One of them, or a few of them, had external power boxes. Sort of like how is the Vita charger like that? Yeah, like the Vita charger is like that. So the part you plug into the Vita is just a little yellow plug thing. Anyway.
No.
Isn't it?
It
Oh
is
no,
not.
wait, it's the USB. Yeah,
I was about to
it's
say,
the USB.
you're right on this
I
one.
was like,
Sorry, that's the PSP. Yeah,
I'm looking
the
right
Vita
at it. I
is
was
the
like,
USB one.
what?
But it does have like the power box in the middle, right? Or like a
Yes.
adapter or something, yeah.
Yeah.
And so some of the slim PS2s, since I never had one, I didn't think about it. Yeah, they needed those, and it only had like the power cord that PS3 and PS4 and the earlier PS2 used. I was like, so I can't use this one. It's like, dang it! So I have to return this one. But in my haste to get a replacement, I ventured onto eBay. Like I started looking. It's like, well, how much would another power cord cost?
Mistake.
And the power cords are $10-15. Like suddenly my PS2 is not that cheap, and so I started looking at just consoles. And I was like, got on eBay. It's like, wow, I haven't been on eBay in so
Now,
long,
let me
and
just-
There were-
hold on now.
Down
You
the
said
rabbit
your
hole we go.
your PS2 was expensive because you were gonna get a $10 power cord, so you abandoned that idea to buy an entire console, which is gonna cost more than $10 anyway. I don't.
Well, I was just investigating, and then when I started looking, there's just a lot of people, I guess, are dumping their entire collections. So what they were doing was just like they would bundle their system with all of their games and controllers and stuff like that. And I started thinking that, I would like to have another DualShock 2 because I only have one now.
Oh boy.
I must have, I don't know, I maybe sold all the rest of them back in the day. I was like, I'd like to have more controllers. So I looked up controllers, and the controllers are expensive now too. So I was like, come on. So yeah, I started looking on eBay. It's like, there's these bundles. So, this works. I think I'll just like bid on some of these, if they're cheap enough, and I'll just bid on them, and then hopefully get another console that I can use, and some more controllers, and then some games that I'm looking at, and basically, looking for deals. But I made the mistake, and I've done this before.
Yeah.
But I bid on a whole bunch of them at like pretty lowball prices,
Oh, trouble.
and then I was like, hang on, stop. What if I win them all?
This is a thing that happened.
Yes,
So.
this happened. So I now have 4 PS2s. I mean, they were pretty cheap. It was
Well, in
like,
case any of them die, ...
yeah, it was like
Yeah, no.
50 average, like $50 for a PS2, 2 or 3 controllers, and like 7 or 8 games per $50.
When really all you needed was a $10 cord.
I mean, I'm not saying there was a flaw in your logic, but I'm also not saying that that's not what's going on here. So
Yeah, it got. That was a mistake.
no, really.
Back when I got the original Xbox, I accidentally did the same thing. Like I was lowball bidding on a bunch of different Xboxes, and then then I won one. I was like, oh cool, I got an Xbox, a bunch of games, and then a few days passed, and I was like, huh? I won another one? It's like, oh yeah. And so
I think you need to learn how to use eBay properly. Because that's not what you do.
Because that's
at a
you're
time.
doing it wrong. You're doing it all wrong.
But I haven't used eBay since I think it was
Really.
2002, like over 10 years ago. But I remembered my password because the password I chose was related to what I was searching for when I first used eBay. And so I was like, oh, okay, I found it. And so now it's like, oh, password still works, and yeah, all that. And now I have a bunch of PS2s. I was like, I'm probably going. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm going to return the one that I got from Play and Trade because I can't use it, and I'm probably going to see if I can like pretty up one of the other ones and then resell it on eBay, and then then I just have one extra and then the fat one that I already had. So
So
hopefully in the end I will have 2 PS2s.
As opposed to like, what are you, 6 now or something? What's going on here?
4.
oh.
I didn't win
Oh.
4. I won 2, but
Oh,
I have 4 PS2s right now.
still ridiculous. So
Yeah, it got crazy. Though I ended up with a lot of controllers, so that's pretty cool.
So I guess
And
there's
a memory
that's
card.
this.
Yeah, memory cards.
Honestly.
Um, so yeah, the later like the last model of PS2 that came out, the Slim, had an external or internal power supply. So now I can basically use all the same cords on my PS2s and PS3 and PS4. So it's really pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So fun.
Was it
PS2
though?
Awesome.
Was it?
PS2 is like, yeah, it was
You-
amazing.
You better play every game tropical.
Yep,
Every
that is the
single
plan.
one.
Like stream them for a few hours around lunch when my daughter sleeps, and then
She can be awake.
sometimes she takes a second nap in the afternoon. No, it's really cold in the basement. I don't want to bring her.
She is lazy. All those naps.
And then she sleeps pretty early at night.
Ugh, all she does is sleep. She's so lazy. What's going on?
One.
Oh, right. But still.
So is it unprecedented pretty much that once a console is discontinued it never comes back into production?
I have never heard of that happening.
'Cause it seems like, you know, there is still interest in like some of these retro consoles, but not like enough to where it's like they need to be like spitting out a ton of them. But it's just like it just gets annoying like when like the circulation is only in the secondhand market and like you can only get them at like super ridiculous prices. It's just really
Yeah. Well, so
'Cause I need another
there's-
DualShock and I don't want to pay the money for one. It's just like, oh, I'd rather play some of these on PS2 than on PS3 because of the controller. So it's like, oh.
I have many.
I just want to say, Tropical does have like 50 of them now, so.
Well, yeah, because I don't have like PS2 had a multi-tap, right?
Yep,
It did.
Oh wait, I have the multi-tap.
I have one too.
Hmm. Well, we'll see. We'll talk. But yeah, like
Yeah, multi-tap.
there's two things I've seen. One is if you look for like NES right now, there are, and I don't know how they got the license or whatever, but they manufacture hardware that doesn't look like the NES at all.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. Actually, there's this thing called the Super Retro, and it comes out in March, and it plays Genesis, NES, and SNES games.
Yeah, like
SNES.
things like that. There's actually a whole bunch of those types of machines out there already. Play and Trade actually carries them in the stores.
Oh.
Is this legal? Is this...
I have no idea. I'm just like, are you allowed to do this? And I've never looked into it, so I don't know how it all works.
But
But
you have to keep up that good plausible deniability. It's for the best.
well, I've looked into owning one. I've never looked into why it is legal for them to produce these and sell them in storefronts. I mean, I guess GameStop doesn't carry them, but yeah, Play and Trade has them, and online you can find everything, so they're there too. But so I guess it would depend. Like maybe eventually there would be interest in having PS2 consoles again, and like someone would. I don't think Sony would be interested in making them, but then maybe someone else can pay and get the ability to do it, or do it illegally, or like
Which is what's
gray market
happening.
style. Or the other thing, and this seems like it's probably going to happen, is yeah, like Sony is pushing for software emulation that they're going to own on their own, and then somehow that would make them money.
It seems, yeah, 'cause it just seems like it'd be nice if there was a solution to this problem where it's like, you know, you have something that's an old console, but you still play it. It's just, you know, when some of the parts or stuff break down, you
Yeah.
can't get access to certain things like a controller or a memory card or whatnot. It's like you have no
Memory
choice but
card.
to play extreme premium to get those back. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm looking on Amazon and the DualShock 2s go for like $24, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Where's my memory card anyway?
Yeah, I got some memory cards too. I was happy
course you
about
did.
that.
I made sure to stock up on a ton of those before the PS2
Before
because I was
the
like,
end.
I knew I would need them if I had a ton of games.
Because I already have like 3 PS2 memory cards. Because one's like a 16 one.
That's the
and
one thing I
one's
love
like
about
8
playing
something, so-
the PS2 games on my fat PS3 is that like, you know, you can just make infinite memory cards essentially because, you know, if you need
It's
space,
true.
just make a virtual one because
You know what's
there's
neat
never,
is
no
like
space.
that is still available on even non-backwards compatible PS3s. Pretty sure. So
Why?
what I can do is I bought the adapter for the PS3 that you
Mhm.
can put in the memory cards with,
I have that.
Me
and
too.
then like I'm thinking about storing like archiving PS2 saves on my PS3 because it's easier to browse through them.
Yeah.
Like I have
Trying to
the
find
hard
them
drive
online.
for the PS2 on my fat PS2, so I can archive them there. But it's weird, like even though it's a hard drive, it still loads really slow. You know, it loads basically exactly the same way as flash memory cards on the PS2. It's like, huh, that's yeah, it's not quite as convenient as having the archive on the PS3. But man, I always have those memory issues. Anyway, um, yes, hopefully there will be some solution in the future for PS2, and you know, you don't have to be at the mercy of these people who are just like, oh, now they're rare. I'm going to make a buck. Right now, I think it's still okay. Like, I think prices are about to be on the rise. Like, right now is the time when everyone is kind of dumping them.
Yeah, like you said,
Yeah,
everyone's like dumping them.
'cause-
It's like it makes sense because they need to like do that to get rid of the PS3. If they have PS2 stuff, get rid of that too to like afford PS4s. So it's like a
Yep.
buyer's market right now.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I
'cause
just
I even
went on,
remember one.
and yeah, I just started looking for. You know, after that, I started. You got crazy. So once I started losing some of my bids on PS2, I was like, oh, whew. So yeah, in the end, I only won another. It could have been much worse.
Oh boy.
But then, yeah, then I started looking at just like I started looking up lots of PS2 games.
Because he never learns.
Like you know, if there was a collection of them for sale, I would try to get them. And the thing I learned mostly was that most people on eBay have really boring PS2 collections. You like look at it's like, oh, 45 PS2 games for sale, and you look at them and there'll be
Like Barbie's
4 or
Magical
5.
Horse Adventure or something.
No, see, that would be interesting, but it's not. It's just like
You would
really
think that's
dull stuff. It's
interesting.
just like, oh, Madden's, 4 or 5 Madden's, 4 or 5 NBA lives.
Well, that's why it's a
Love to.
45 game
Or-
collection.
It's just like the big name stuff, and I was like, I guess like the mainstream games, as we would call them now, and it's just like, that's really boring. To actually, I think maybe because the people who buy, like, I think RPGs collection is probably really valuable right now because it's all RPGs and like RPGs. Well, not all RPGs, but if you have a
A
lot
good
of
chunk of them.
RPGs,
Yeah.
those are really valuable. And I was looking, I was like, yeah, no one has, no one's selling collections of these. I think the people who buy games like that perhaps understands, like, yeah, these are the rare games. These will be the rare games.
Well, I don't plan on selling my collection, but
True, but just like dot hack. I was looking at it, it's like, oh, these are like hundreds of dollars to get all
they
four.
are like ridiculous now.
And, for I guess was Xenosaga Episode 3 really rare or something?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know why
Yeah,
it would have been.
That was just weird because I looked and like Xenosaga 1 and 2 are pretty common and you can get them for really cheap.
Well,
Probably
you can
'cause-
still
like-
find those.
Probably because nobody liked 2, and then 3 came
Oh,
out.
yeah,
and
that
nobody
could- that
bought
could have been what it
and then
is.
it ran into circulation. If you were like, oh, I need to get the 3rd one, but I can't find it anywhere.
Which is sad because 3 was actually good. And
And
it's
the
like,
price went
huh?
up.
So, good
Suck.
thing I never got rid of mine. That would
Yeah,
have
I'm
sucked.
trying to get that one now. It's like, oh, but I don't know when I'm gonna play it. And so I was like, okay, stop. Too
Hammer
much this
time?
month. I've already gotten 2 PS2s, 40 some game, almost 50 games for PS2, and then I got Fear Effect 2 because mine was messed up. And it's like, I've never played through it because disc 2 doesn't work.
No. Multi-disc games. Memories.
But yeah,
Remember when
no,
Final
it's
Fantasy used
so
to be
awesome.
4 discs long?
Back in my day, games went off on more than one disc. You had to switch them. Yeah.
Man, that was crazy.
Because now I'm looking at it, it's like, I wish I had kept more of my PS2 cases. Because now I have a house, and and a basement, so I can have those awesome display shelves of all of my cases and stuff.
I
Like,
will never regret getting rid of all those cases. ever.
Because they're like a lot of space. It's like, oh my
They are.
god.
But
It's like the scene in Goonies when you find One-Eyed Willie and he's got all this treasure. It's like, oh, you're still here, but there's all this junk around you. So yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think it would be neat. I have lots of space now, and it's just like I have walls downstairs that I need to cover with something because
Did you
they look
try
really
paint? Wallpaper?
they are painted. They're like
Or-
painted brick, and it's just like well, I could put walls up, or I could just put up shelving and then just cover them with things. Because I have things, and but not enough things to cover all the walls. Like,
Oh, it's optical.
I'm starting to revert into sort of that collector's mindset. It's like, man, so it was really cool. Like today, I was looking up how to restore PS or just like glossy plastic, and I found like a YouTube channel. Some guy, I guess he runs a games store in Ohio, and he does these videos like, oh, this is how I restore PS3s, and it's just like he had a fat PS3, and it was, how there were like, it was like piano finish, and it was totally covered in scratches, and he did some stuff to it, and then it was like, it was like brand new looking. It's like, whoa, that is so cool. The GameStop never does that.
Well, obviously.
And yeah, like
'Cause that requires
he
us
has
to
a
care.
whole series of videos, and they're on like a ton of different gaming topics. But yeah, I was interested in looking at these restoration ones. Like, wow, it's really neat. Like, you'll take old PS1 games, they'll have stickers on them, like someone got them from Hollywood Movie or something, and they'll have marker on them for some reason, and he just like shows all these techniques, and then he takes it out, and it looks like, wow, brand new disc, crazy. And it's just like, man, collecting is kind of cool.
Is it though? Is it?
It's like, oh no, I need to make my money so I can collect all 4,000 PS2 games.
Oh my. That's ridiculous.
That would be crazy.
That
But-
would be crazy.
Awesome, but mostly crazy.
That would be like a fun goal to like counteract the backlog beatdown. It's like, I will finish all these games. However, at the same time, I will collect every single game from one platform. And possibly never finish them, but it doesn't matter because I'll have them all from that
I-
platform.
My children's children will have to finish them.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate heirloom. This amazing game collection.
Which they'll never be able to play because none of the consoles will be able to use them.
Not compatible with
attach
future holographic TVs.
It's like what is a disc? What's this even? It's like so.
I don't know. It's crazy.
I'm
Like
making the
never-
hand gesture to turn on, but it's not turning on. What's
I know,
going on?
right?
I'm telling it to turn on, and it's not voice activated. How do I work this thing?
What's a
I've never done this before, where I was like really looking back at retro type stuff or retro games, and just doing it recently, and just finding out about how other people, the game preservation problem that's sort of prevalent right now, and the restoration thing that I watched today, and just all this stuff. I was like, wow, this is really interesting to me. And yeah, the preservation problem, that's kind of huge. Like, how, if my PS2 dies, or if all of my PS2 dies, if all of my PS2 die,
I was just about to say, I was like, it's not right here.
what happens to this giant collection of games? Are they just worthless? Or not worthless, but like they are worthless to me. And it's like emulators are not legal, and you actually need a PS2 to use any of the emulators, and it's like so many difficulties. But yeah, interesting to think about. Whew. So games that I actually played this week.
None.
I'm sad that no one here has played The Last of Us Left Behind.
Well, I haven't even played
We know,
Last of Us to
dude.
begin with,
That's-
so
Last of Us.
I'm on
And
game moratorium. That's my reason. 2014, September 9th.
Well,
Until
someday
then, dot dot dot.
it will be. Oh my gosh, I haven't played The Last of Us single player in a long time, and I played through Left Behind in one sitting. I sat there in front of the screen with my headphones turned up really loud and just sat there and just played through the entire thing. And man, it is intense. It was like after I finished, it's like I I don't know. Like I feel like I hate playing The Last of Us.
Is it another situation where you you can't describe it as fun?
Yeah, exactly. It was like I kept thinking about what Tekken said about it. It's like The Last of Us. You don't play that game. You've lived through it.
It changes you, man.
Oh
It'll
my.
change you.
And, like The Last of Us Left Behind. Yeah, I played through. And I was like, oh, that was terrible, and yet I love it. It's like it was really fun. Like I was wearing my headphones because my wife was working, and we were sitting in the same room. And at one point, I just couldn't help it. Stuff was going down. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was yelling in the room. I was like, "Yeah, it's intense." And yeah, I guess I can't really say anything about it.
I'm sorry.
Very high quality. It was has anyone else done? Yeah, I guess it's most like the Borderlands DLC, where they add everything. Like they add new weapons, they add new enemies, they add new currency types. There's new maps, there's new characters. It's just like new, like lots of stuff. And Left Behind is like that also. And it uses all the same systems in the same way that Borderlands DLC does, but it also puts like clever spins on them. And they also like really cleverly figured out a way to meld combat and exploration. That makes sense, right? Sort of. Basically, like they had said, oh, this is a prequel story, and so it's not gonna be there's not gonna be all the combat there was in the main game. And so you sort of think, well, is it gonna be sort of like Gone Home or a bunch of other first person or like other.
It's like the games that are like exploration based and they're very devoid of combat or interactivity.
Yeah.
Not really interactivity, but just like really devoid of combat. It's like more about like exploration and like the narrative and the story of like here's what happened here, but that's really all you get. You don't get of like, oh, now the room is there's some dudes that came in, let me take them all out, and there's no like real set piece moments like that.
Like that's what it gave the impression that it was going to be like, and actually, it's not. Like there is that, but they melded it together very cleverly in such a way that it feels like the single player, like the original base game, where you do have exploration parts where you're just walking and looking for stuff and things like that, but you also have combat, and it all makes sense narratively. I was like, oh, that's very clever. Yes, it is great. So yeah, I finished something, and then the other thing I played
Doesn't count.
a lot of was the Titanfall beta.
I don't think you're allowed to talk about that.
I think you are, aren't you?
Are you sure?
Didn't they open it to everybody?
I don't know.
There's no NDA on the Titanfall beta.
Go Tactical, we don't care.
Oh, okay,
Respawn
just
can
making
do
sure.
what they want. Bring it.
Oh,
I mean, what
F
if,
'em. I mean, not F 'em, but
let's not let's not what's the word I'm looking for here? Let's not do that because I don't want to. I don't want to play with anybody's lawyers or anything. Let's try not to.
well, so I am super
Provoking.
surprised that it works. It runs really well on
PC.
on PC. It doesn't like my PC. I felt that it's sort of falling behind, and yet it seemed to run this one pretty well. The only thing I couldn't turn up was the textures. Apparently, insane textures require at least 3 gigs of video RAM, and I don't have that. And In fact, the one time I tried, like it crashed the game. And I'm like, oh, so I guess I don't have the memory. That being said, like, yeah, it doesn't look that good.
That seems to be the consensus online.
Yeah, like it looks. Um, let's see, what is it? I don't know. Yeah, when you see it, like, you should be able to tell. It doesn't look that good, but yeah. In exchange, it runs really well on, I think, probably a very wide range of PCs. The only thing I can think of, and like most people should have this, also, 64-bit operating system. Like it only runs on 64-bit operating systems. So you have an old like Windows 7 on a 32-bit, or I think you can even get Windows 8 32-bit. Then it doesn't run. But everything else, the graphics card requirement is at least 5, 6, 7 years old. And yeah, it's like, oh, it runs really well. The second thing is it plays. It reminds me most of Unreal Tournament because of, I guess, the way people move. You know, in Call of Duty, sometimes you'll see people try to jump to dodge your gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really work that well because you don't jump very high in Call of Duty. Like in Titanfall, you jump really high. In fact, it reminds me, yeah, most of the way that old school shooters like Quake. I guess it was just called Quake.
Yeah.
And you know, like, yeah, old school shooters, the way that you just see people jumping around, circle strafing like that. It's like, it feels a lot like those kind of games. Or like,
That's one of the impressions that someone on Cessler or something said about it. Or not Cessler, but Justice that was playing in the beta said about it. They said it felt very Twitch-based as far as, like, you know, the old PC shooters of, like, the 90s.
yeah, like it is really twitchy. It takes a bit to get used to. Like if you're used to like Call of Duty's auto aim in Modern Warfare, the first one, it's like it changed, I think, the way that I play first person shooters. And then now playing Titanfall, it's like, oh wow, you can't really rely in the same way. And so yeah, it actually is really fun. I still don't think that it's gonna be the game that takes over Call of Duty, or I don't think it's really gonna help Xbox One sales that much.
Oh,
But
we have to talk about that in the news. I can't wait.
it is really fun. Yeah, it's like I said before. It's gonna be. It's like Left 4 Dead, I guess. You know, Left 4 Dead was an amazing game, and lots of people really liked it, but it didn't really make a huge splash, I guess.
Wait. Are you talking about on 360 or PC? Because that game blew up. I remember that game being really popular, Tropical. What are you talking about?
Really?
Yeah, Left 4 Dead.
You see?
I remember loving like I remember being sucked into it. I don't know about everybody else, but I can get
Yeah,
it off.
like I know that people who really liked Left 4 Dead really liked Left 4 Dead, but it didn't generate like this sort of broad, you know, it didn't become a mainstream game
I
basically.
see what you're saying.
But like I think they need right now.
Actually, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking that like oh, it was something about like how basically when Call of Duty 4 came out, even though it was an established franchise and it was like the fourth entry, it was like, since even though the like franchise hasn't been as popular, then like it blew up and exploded like it was with 4. There's some other game I was drawing the comparison to at the time in my brain. I was like, oh, that same game did that, but I can't think of it right now. It's like it was very it's relative to what we're talking about because it was like a new franchise, but it wasn't a new franchise because it was like kind of established where you have this game. It's like it's by Infinity Ward, so they've done previous work. So it's like, yeah, this is new IP, but like it's from people that know what they're doing. So it's like if the game does blow up like that, it would be a similar situation where it's like, you know, Titanfall comes in and like blows up, and then Call of Duty, if it's able to catch up, can catch up, but if it's not and gets left behind, it's a very similar situation to what happened with Modern Warfare when it just came in, destroyed every FPS round, and then like nothing else came close for years and years, and then it was just like everybody playing catch up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sort of Grand Theft Auto is kind of like that, isn't it?
Yeah, because 3 was
Like
so huge.
there was 2, and then the third one was like, oh, it just exploded, and then more and more of them, and then just like, oh, we want to make open world games too, and there's like Saints Row and all the other ones, True Crime, and but yeah, it's still kind of like they're catching up to it.
Maybe I was thinking about like since it is so Twitch based, it's like what happened to them all, and then I guess it's like Call of Duty came in and like just was so different from that formula.
A lot less twitchy.
And you haven't really seen like the return of those shooters, I guess, until Titanfall, since it has like since people are saying it's like that, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if it's that case, like Unreal Tournament was huge, but it was never a mainstream game.
Yeah, I remember the time I think when Counter-Strike was super popular, like Unreal Tournament was like just as popular. It was like super big.
Yep, it was Unreal Tournament.
It's funny though because I was like always a Quake person, so I didn't really play it. But then my PC at the time was like not capable of it, so I was like, you people in your Unreal Tournaments, pff, whatever.
Yeah, Titanfall, I'm impressed. It's like, wow, I think a lot of different PCs will be able to run this, and I think a lot of people on 360 will buy it. But I don't know that a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, I need it to look slightly better, and I'm gonna buy $500 for a system and then buy a $60 game.
Wait, there's no Titanfall bundle?
If there is, it hasn't been announced.
Because that's a missed opportunity there for Microsoft.
Yeah, that's sort of weird. Although perhaps they know this as well. Now that they're playing, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I think we like it, but are lots of people going to like it? And are they going to like it so much that they're going to buy new hardware to get it? And I think people who are buying new hardware wanted new hardware. And this is not, this is sort of like icing on the top. And so there are some people waiting for this game. It's like, I don't, there's no games. And so they're waiting for Titanfall to buy it. But then, is that millions and millions of people? It's like, I don't know about that. Still, but yeah, I do think it's pretty fun. I played it a lot.
I guess. I'm sorry. I just remembered the analogy I was going to make. I guess like you could say like with Halo, it was in like the third iteration, and then it came out, but then it still wasn't able to like dethrone Call of Duty, which even though it had been
Like,
previous
it was
versions on console,
Yeah.
it wasn't until Modern Warfare came in and just like destroyed everything. And then you had the games that were the old guard of FPS that still couldn't like really keep up and surpass it, and it was just like Call of Duty just remained king until like. Geez, that was probably like 10 years ago. So it's been like 10 years of reign of Call of Duty as king.
Yeah.
And still has not changed. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
That is, wow, that's pretty crazy. That was 10 years ago.
2004, 2005, around there.
It's a long time ago.
When
I know.
Modern Warfare came out, I'll look it up.
Doesn't seem right.
Yeah, no, a thought that kept occurring to me though, I was like, oh, I wish Titanfall was a different kind of game. Like the game that it is, it does work well. The 6-on-6 thing it feels weird initially because you're running around and you're looking for other players, but you can't find any. You find lots of people to shoot, but none of them are players. How do you know this? They don't really fight back. The AI guys are just sort of there for you to kill.
See, I had this feeling from like why they I had the feeling this was going to happen where it just would feel very much like I haven't played it yet, but like from like all the stuff I'm hearing from the feedback, it feels very much like it's a first person MOBA where it's like there's just a bunch of underlings and you don't really get into like the like throwdowns until you get like a human opponent in the mix in like your midst, but it's like you can't really tell who's who until you're up on them.
Kind of. Like, in MOBAs, you kill the underlings so you level up and get money, so you can buy equipment and, like, use your skills and stuff. And Titanfall, you kill underlings and they, like, every hit you get shortens the amount of time that you have to wait for your Titan. So, if you just stand there and do nothing, I think you can deploy your Titan in 4 minutes. But if you go around and kill guys, like, each kill takes off a few seconds, and then you get your Titan faster. But then Titans aren't like they're not super overpowered or anything. They die really easily if you pilot them stupidly.
Well,
Does it have a kamikaze mode where you can just like blow it up and kill a bunch of enemies?
Sort
Or
of. Like
self-destruct?
one of the like perks or like loadout things is nuclear. I forget what it's called, but basically, like when you eject from the Titan when it's about to die, it explodes a lot bigger than an ordinary Titan explosion, and it just kills everything around it,
That's
including other Titans.
Oh, well, there's that.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I just looked it up and Modern Warfare came out in 2007, so I'm a bit off with my history.
I was just about to
Okay.
say, because like, there's no
7
way.
years. Still, man, it's a long time.
That is a long time.
7 years.
Another thing like the underlings do. Well, they're not. They're called grunts. The grunts,
That's so different.
Because that's better. Man.
because you don't
Synonyms.
really command them. I don't know. Do you command? Anyway, yeah, underlings.
I think it's just people that just they're the same thing. It doesn't
yeah,
matter
below
if you
you.
can command it or something. Yeah, it's not like
in the team deathmatch mode, killing underlings gives you points also, but it's less points. So if you kill a pilot, I think it's 4 points, and if you kill a underling, it's just 1 point. And so a lot of people have suggested that the underlings are there to give like less skilled players something to do.
That's so stupid.
And I tried that. I was like, I just ran around and killed underlings because, like, I think that's correct. What people are assuming, because one of the skills you can load up is well, there's two things. So one of the skills you can load up is it will show on your mini map the location of all the enemy grunts. And so you can, yeah, literally run around looking at the map and just find all the grunts and kill them all, while your teammates are running around looking for other pilots, which is what I've done a lot. And then the other thing is one of the weapons is called the Smart Pistol, and it basically it's an auto headshot gun. So it's like a pistol that you're holding, and if you run around, there's like a huge reticule on the screen, and if you can hold an enemy in it for a certain amount of time, then push the trigger and it kills them instantly. The difference is like, so it can lock on multiple shots. So if you run into a group of 4, I think it's like 5 or 6 underlings, you can kill all of them with one pull of the trigger, as long as you hold them all in the reticule. And it's really fast for underlings because it only takes 1 bullet to kill each of them. But when you're locking onto pilots, though, you have to hold it on them much longer. So it's sort of balanced there. But yeah, so those two things, like Smart Pistol, you run around and you can kill a ton of grunts really fast. It's like, I don't know, this feels sort of hollow. It's like, yes, I am earning points for my team, and yes, I'm getting my Titan faster, and yes, I'm shooting stuff, but it's like,
It's
yeah,
not
it
the same,
feels
'cause
very
you're just-
hollow. And
just going through the
thing
motions.
that they have that you've heard about is at the end of the round, the winning team gets to kill the losing team, or try to kill the losing team, while the losing team is trying to run away to like an evac ship. And yeah, it also makes victory feel really hollow. I mean, I guess if you're
Should it be
skilled
the
enough.
other way around, where it's like the winning team has to like hold out for extraction or something? That would be
No.
better.
The losing team has to get.
They're trying
But
to
why would you
retreat.
like care if you already won though?
Because you're
Well-
adding insult to injury, Tekken. It's like, haha, we beat you, so
Yeah,
now we're
like
going to
that's-
rub it in.
I think that's what it's supposed to be, but oftentimes, like when it flips very easily. Like if anyone gets away, then you feel like, oh, even though we won, we
For
lost.
me, I'd be like, I would just stand back and shoot my gun and then be like, haha, suckers, we won. Yeah, suck it. Oh, I don't even have to kill you because we already won in your face.
But see, they're gonna run away and they're gonna be like, oh, we won,
They
yay!
didn't win because we won. There's no
It
disputable
feels like
fact
that,
to
like,
one
the-
chapter.
It is
They're
really
cheating.
hard to extract.
Victory
Like
is victory.
when
I
you
don't
get out
care.
the extraction, it's like, well, like yeah, the game modes feel hollow because they're like Call of Duty game modes essentially. So like hard points, like when you win hard points, like what do you really get? You don't really get anything. You get the message that says, "Oh, victory."
Actually, that's what I was gonna ask you. Is like, how does it tie in like the campaign aspect of like, oh, here's this, or like it's supposed to be single player as you play the multiplayer.
I don't think there is any of in the beta, I don't think there's any of that at all. There are characters and they talk to you, but they say very
Is it the same
Call
thing
of
over and
Duty.
over?
We're losing
Like
this.
we've been saying, yeah.
That hard point.
That's
Oh,
pretty
we're
good.
behind. Oh, we're ahead. Oh, we're behind. Pick it up. Slow it down.
Slow it down. What?
This sounds
Did
like
they actually say
what?
slow it down? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I never say that.
Okay, about to say.
It's like this sounds like a
But
dance song.
yeah, it's like the feeling of victory in Call of Duty it comes from your effort, and you've played it and you won. And it's like, oh, cool, we won, and I feel accomplished because I did something, and it resulted in victory. And then Titanfall, because they have the epilogue, it doesn't feel like that. If they escape, even though you won, you feel like you lost because
Really?
that end part is very. It's almost like it's a separate game. You know, if you like took a match of Call of Duty, so like your game is like it's Call of Duty plus SOCOM, and you mash them together into one mode. So there's 20 minutes where you can just run around and kill people and die and respawn. But then those last, 2 minutes, you don't get any respawns, and you're still running around and killing people, but you don't get respawns. And so like that last 2 minutes feels way more important than the 20 minutes that you played earlier, because the 20 minutes, like when you die, it's like, oh, it feels meaningless because you just come back instantly. And when you kill them, it's like, well, that's meaningless too. They just come back instantly. But when you have those 2 minutes where it's like that SOCOM type game, then it feels way more important. And so like, even if you win the 20 minutes, when you lose the 2 minutes, you feel like you lost the entire game.
I think
Do
that
you
And
though?
then like
Do
victory feels very hollow to me.
So does the
in
cutscene that play just say something like, "Oh, the bad guys got away" or something?
Basically, like you watch their.
Ah.
Well, no, it never cuts to a cutscene. Like you're in your first-person mode, and you see the ship come down, and like if you're in a Titan, or you can use your anti-Titan weapons, you can start shooting at the ship, and sometimes you can blow up the ship, but it's not that easy because it doesn't stay very long, and so you really need your teammates to have survived, and so there's a bunch of you to shoot down the ship. But if you don't shoot down the ship, then it flies away, and whoever on the other team got on it, then they escaped, and it's just like, oh.
They live to
That's
fight
it.
another day.
Like when that happens, like I barely remember the victory that we just had. It's just
I think that might be just you, Charlie.
failed.
I wouldn't have that feeling of defeat even if we won.
Neither
something.
did I. Neither would I. Like, yep. Because I mean, you basically just scared them away. So it's like, why
like,
would you
when-
feel like you lost
you-
when you? I mean, you clearly won because they're retreating. So it's not like.
it doesn't feel like you clearly won.
I think you're. I
Like,
think
it
you're
just
just
says-
kind of a. I think.
it
I
just
think you're
says-
just kind of a sadist, is what
Now,
it is. And
don't
it's
kill
like.
them. Don't let
just-
them escape.
Because I mean,
Whereas,
you
like,
could just.
So when
With-
you're have you ever been the extracting team and like barely
Yeah, like, you
escaped and you felt like you won? Is that how you feel?
Exactly, yeah. Like it's really hard
doesn't
to
make any
escape
sense.
because they're all over you, and it shows the marker to everyone on both teams. It's like, this is where the extraction is happening. Go and stop them, or get to this point. And so you get to that point, and obviously it's swarming with enemies, and you have to hold out for the ship to get there. And then once you get on the ship, you you just have to pray that they don't have enough firepower to shoot you down. And then if all of that happens and you get out of there, it's like, you feel like you won. It's like, oh man, that was the hardest part of the game.
But you didn't.
The other parts felt very meaningless compared to that last stand sort of.
Maybe for Tropical they should just have like the ending sections be the game and they need to be more happy.
Yeah, actually I would.
And somehow be able to like connect them into a campaign that you can just play through the good parts and not the
not
menial
parts.
kill stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's just like, yeah, I feel like I wish it was a different game because it works the way it is, but I wish it wasn't the way it is. Like I wish it was like
I'm not
I
sure
guess
that's
yeah,
how
I
that
wish it was
works.
like Battlefield. If the maps were way bigger and the Titans, you had more room to maneuver and maybe there'd be more of them on the screen. Yeah, I
Just
wish it
play
was more
Battlefield.
massive. Right now it's just like it is sort of Call of Duty style maps, but there's more vertical spaces. So like surface area wise, if you're just running down the streets, it's very small. It's like Call of Duty. But then there's like buildings that you can go into. So I guess they're sort of taller. And then once you're in a Titan, it's like the maps are really small. Like one of the maps is just you're walking down streets and alleyways, and it's just like this is really cramped for having this big mech in here. And so, yeah, I wish it was a bigger scale game,
I see what you're saying.
but it works the way it is. I just don't. Yeah, I wish it was not the way it is. It's like, oh, because piloting the mechs is really fun once you get the hang of it. Like right now in the beta, because it's the beta and it's only been a few days. It's just like, okay, this is not bragging. So I think when I play games, like I figure out the systems really quickly, and then I sort of plateau. Like that is my skill level forever. I never get better. I just I start out okay, pretty good, and then I just sort of stay there. So eventually everyone surpasses me, and I start playing games and I just lose a lot. So when I play betas, I have a lot of fun because like I'm sort of how should I put this? Like beating on the noobs is what it feels like. Because
Rude.
in the first few games, like 2 games, I played the Titans and I was like, wow, Titans die really fast. And then after that, I sort of figured it out. And it was just like, oh, this is why they died really fast. So now I know how to make them die really fast. And then, yeah, like, because it's the beta and everyone is new to it, and, my starting level feels like it's higher than other people. It's like, oh, so I'm just like killing Titans left and right. And then, but yeah, once the game comes out and it's been out for a few months, I will still be at the same level. It's just that everyone else will be super good at it.
So are you getting Titanfall?
Probably not initially, because I'm gonna get it on PC, right? So PC games, they tend to get cheap fast, and so I'm just gonna wait for that to happen. I got SimCity at launch. Come on.
And we all know how that turned out. Just
Haha.
here you go. You get your chance to atone for all the mess ups that have happened.
It will balance out my SimCity purchase. Well, although I guess I got Dead Space 3 for free because of that. But yes, it will balance out my SimCity purchase by giving me a cheaper copy of Titanfall somewhere. Yes. And then I guess I beat another game. It was a Beat Sliders, Slider singular, not plural, and not the little hamburger.
Oh.
It's basically one of those sliding puzzle games, or what are they called? Sliding pieces puzzles?
Sliding puzzles?
Is that what they're called?
I'm pretty sure that's what they're called.
It's like a puzzle, but it's
I think you're just doing too much right now. It's just sliding puzzle.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself.
And yeah, I guess it's supposed to be music based, but it's not really. Anyway, it was a sliding puzzle. You do a bunch of sliding puzzles, and then each of those sliding puzzles was a piece of a bigger sliding puzzle. And then once you've unlocked all the pieces of the big sliding puzzle, you can complete that one. And I guess that was the end of the game. And I asked the developers, like, is that it? And they win. And the developer was like, you win. Good job. And I was like, yay!
Oh, tropical.
It came out on a PlayStation Mobile. And I had never played it. And, I have over 100 games on my Vita, and I just needed to make room for other things. And I was just like, I'm just gonna see if I can finish this one. And it was really short. So yay! Backlog beatdown.
as he bought 40 something more games. What the hell? I don't think it counts as a beatdown when you keep giving it friends. So it's not
It's growing. Oh. So yeah, that's that is my week in gaming. It was fun, except for The Last of Us, which was not fun, but it was awesome.
I don't know if I'm even encouraged to play The Last of Us because I don't think you've actually said anything good about it, but it doesn't make sense. It's like
Man,
it's like I don't this game isn't fun, but it's awesome. Like I don't understand how this works.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like an analogy for The Last of Us where it's like something that you go through, but it's terrible, but it's not terrible, like childbirth or something, or like a tattoo.
Yeah,
It's like once it's over, the pain is over and it's there forever, and it's just an amazing piece of art, like a tattoo or something. But while it's happening, and you're like, oh. I guess if it's like a sensitive spot, though. I mean, if it's like a fat spot, it's not gonna be that bad. But
Well, it's like roller coasters.
It was an emotional roller coaster. That is true, Tropical. I went through an emotional roller coaster on that game.
It's like or like sad movies. Like, why do people watch sad movies or like tragedies and things like that? It's
I don't think anyone watches those.
You can't describe them as fun or as like, oh, I really enjoyed that movie.
Some people might actually. There are some out there.
Yeah, there are probably people who like The Last of Us in that way too. But for me, like, I remember I got it at launch, and then a bunch of friends came over, and they got to see it. And, well, Tegan knows what I'm talking about, like, the first part. After they saw the room and the lighting, and they were just like, oh, man, we have to get this game. And then they got to the end of that part. And they were just like, I don't know. And then, after I played more of it, and I talked to some of them again, I was like, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys would want, because they're like mainstream sort of casual type gamers.
Ew, why are you friends with them?
He played Uncharted and all that, and him and his wife, like, they thought those were really good. And I told them, like, yeah, this is the new one from those guys. And they're like, oh man, it looks so good, we have to get it. And then the end of that part, I was like, I don't know. And I played more of it. I was like, yeah, the game is intense. Like, it is not Uncharted at all. So I don't know. Like, if you play games primarily for the fun,
then this is not the game for you.
I don't know.
Is that what it is?
This game is not, like, it's challenging, and it's but yeah, I don't know if fun is the right word.
Yeah, another analogy I just thought of was like running a marathon. It's like, it will exhaust you, but you'll be happy after you're done and be like, I did it. Yeah, but it'll be like burning the next day of like, oh, the pain.
That doesn't sound good either. I'm not sure you're really. I would not be convinced to buy this game if I listened to you guys talk about it like this. I'm just saying.
Because it's just like, yeah, it's sort of a tragic story, and then the gameplay, like, even in the context of the game, it's like, who can say, it's like, oh yeah, I bludgeoned that guy to death with my bare hands, and I did that in a game, and it was fun. Like, you sound like a psychopath.
Well,
and that is what you do in this game.
That could be fun, maybe.
Especially with all the attention to detail that like goes into like all the animations and whatnot when you're killing people.
Yeah.
It's just so.
Like,
ugh.
Those people are real people.
Yeah.
They are not enemies that were put into this game. They're there doing their thing, and you just happen to be at odds with them. And so when you're about to end them, they don't want to be ended.
I'm assuming most people don't. So, I mean,
But like
you know.
enemies don't tend to care. Like Call of Duty, you go in, it's like those people don't seem to care that they're getting sent out to die.
Well,
Essentially, they're poorly armed, they're poor shots, and they're just running out into the field. It's like, oh, there's no cover, whatever.
that doesn't mean they don't want to not be ended. They just don't have resources.
They don't show it. The Last of Us shows it.
Well, I don't know.
And then the monsters. And so it's like, is the
Monsters.
world even a fun place to be in? It's like, not really. So, tragic story, monsters in the world everywhere, and people who you brutally kill.
Sounds like fun to me. Oh,
So it's like, yeah, it was amazing and awesome, and I kind of hate playing it.
oh.
So that I've been playing Tropical.
Yes, that is all I play.
You wanna go next RPG? Or do you want me to go?
Nah, I can go. It's fine.
Alright.
So I been semi playing Bravely Default. I just finished up the first main quest thingy in the game. I just restored one of the crystals, so that's yeah, that's been a thing. But on the bright side, I did rebuild my town completely, so that means more hours went into that than actually playing the game, which is kind of sad when you think about it. Because yeah,
Maybe it's a town building game.
nah, it's not.
Not
It's not because the town building can happen while your DS is in sleep mode. So it's basically just yeah. Looks pretty though. So I mean, there's that benefit, I guess. Unlocked a few more classes and everything. I'm still, I don't know. I just I just can't get past like the old school feel of the game. I think that's what's like preventing me from just like diving all the way in and just playing through it, because it's just I don't know.
Is it too quaint for you?
Too quaint. What? How's that? What?
Like it's just like we're gonna take our time and be bravely default and turn-based slow style and look at all these classical by modern settings designs and all our stuff. Yeah.
Maybe.
We're not gonna be all like, here's a giant open world and here's your character. You don't have a party, but you can just switch your abilities at will while you're in combat and be all pew 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 pew.
Well, you do have a party because it's 4 people in the thing. That's not an issue.
I'm just saying it could be the yin to the lightning returns as yang, and you might like that more. So you should get up on that yang.
Well, I played the demo of Lightning Returns, and I liked that, but I'm just my whole strike thing. I'm not buying it out of principle. They should know better. There should not be a third game in that series. Shut up, I already know.
Okay.
But no, I'm talking. I'm well aware. Bravely Default was made by them.
Okay, I was about to say, how does that work?
I'm just saying. I'm
It's probably for the better
protesting.
RPG. People say that game's not that great. Just throw it out there.
What, the Lightning Returns one?
Yep.
Well, I think because people share my sentiment on the fact that there shouldn't have been a third game to begin with, so they're kind of just like approaching it that way. Because there's like, I also have heard that the game's like really hard, which is weird because the first 2 games are like not. So weird. I don't know. Which is another thing too, because Bravely Default is another one that they really like their status effects in this game. It's kind of irritating because it's like spend more time healing stuff than doing stuff, and all the dungeons are full of status stuff, and it's like, it's ridiculous. This game, I tell you, this game. I mean, if you like old school RPGs, then you'll probably love Bravely Default. But I'm just saying, like me personally, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen like there's been some other people that share my sentiments on the whole old school RPG thing, so it's not just me. So it's okay. I feel better then, because I'm like, okay, so it's not just me who feels like this. It's like it's a thing.
RPG, maybe it's
So-
time to move on and be like, I'm too cool for old school.
Well, I mean, I do play I play like other RPGs that come out. I'm just saying like this one I'm not under I don't understand why I don't know. I just don't know why they made the decision to do this. It's the only way I can put it. I don't understand like
Yeah, because it's on a handheld and they had to be like, to get it to where they want it to be, it has to be in this style of game. And to do
mm,
it in the more new school version is not as easy unless we put it on a
a
Vita
strong
or something
console or
else.
something.
Yeah.
Hmm, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll finish it eventually. Uh, it's probably going to take a while. And I don't know. Other games are coming out next month, and then I don't know. I don't know.
Well, all the games are always coming out RPG. That is true.
I know that these are facts. These
Time
are
doesn't
things that are
stand
happening.
still.
It could. It could if this is Lightning Returns. But yeah. I've only been like playing it off and on. I haven't really like maybe that's the problem too. Maybe I just haven't I guess sat down and devoted the hours to it to really appreciate it or something. Maybe that's what it is. I hope that's what it is, because if it's not, then I'm gonna be sad. So, but yeah. Other than that, I've been playing Danganronpa. Um, I think I'm almost done with the game actually, because one of the thingies was saying it's like the final showdown class trial thing, like the big boss battle, even though there's not really boss battles in this game because that's not how this works. But yeah, that's happening. There's like a part in chapter 5, I think it was, that had like an alternate ending to one of the trials, and I was curious as to whether or not that means the other ones could have had alternate endings too, or if it was just that one. So I might have to go back through and check that out, because it's like at the end of each trial you had to choose which of the students you think was the killer during that thingy. So I wonder if you choose like the wrong one, if it'll give like a different ending or something. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm still enjoying that game. So that's pretty much it. Haven't really been playing much actually. So yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I've been playing on handhelds. I switched it up. I was like, Archelad, you're benched. I'm through with you for now. We'll cross this bridge again when I feel like it. But right now, you're just holding me down, or you're slowing me down, whatever. So I went back to Front Mission 3. Giant robots for the win, and I'm on the second scenario. And thanks for crackling bags in the background, RPG.
Sorry.
so, I'm playing the second scenario where you team up with other people through the game. So it's like a completely different story, which is pretty cool. And I haven't seen this one before, so I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. So it's like you do other crazy stuff on this side that's just as crazy on the other side, because you have these crazy scenarios where it's like, let's go take it down this mobile fortress with just the 5 of us. It's like, it's totally going to happen. And it's like, that's not a good idea, but hey, we're awesome, so we do it. And yeah, it's still fun, and yeah, I will be probably playing it until I don't know. I need to play my Vita, but it's like I'm so frustrated with Archelad 2. I don't know. It kind of broke me, where it's like I don't want to play it ever again, but it's like I need to finish it. But I'm like, oh, this is unneeded stress. I'm alive. What am I gonna do? Oh, so yeah, we'll see. And then besides that, the daily games I'm playing, Gran Turismo 6, just to keep my credits up. And then there's always like the seasonal events that happen every now and then. And yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, I think I'm playing this one. I don't know. It's like, in the long run, just because I'm playing it daily and there's like the seasonal events I'm actually playing, I will probably play it more than GT5. But GT5 is still, I would say, the quantity is there and the quality increase is not to where it is to where I would say 6 is better than 5. Like, 5 is, or not that that's not better. It's just like there's not, like 6, the like driving engine is like sadly so superior, but like, there's just so much to do in 5, and like I went through this one in like a week or something, and just it just didn't have it where it needed it, which was quantity. Because there's always supposed to be like, oh, thousands of races or hundreds of races in the career mode, and this one you get there and it's like, totally
Eh?
Totally not as many as it was in the past. It's like something's missing. What they do. So yeah. So hopefully when they're done rolling out all this free stuff through DLC, like the Red Bull stuff, it'll be a ton more stuff or some more endurance races. Seriously, whereas like 24-hour races are crazy, but it would be nice to have some more stuff to do. Just saying. I'd like to stream that and be like 12 hours of awesome with Taken Master as he does this crazy stream. You get to see him ramble and go into insanity mode as he streams it. Yeah.
Wait, they have a race that lasts for 24 hours?
Not in this one. They do in 5 and 3, I think, but not in... Actually, 3, 4, and 5. Not 3, 4, and 5 for sure, but not in 6.
Did 3 not have one?
No, 3 had endurance races, but they weren't 24 hours.
Oh, yeah,
they were just
it
like
wasn't
way
24
crazy
hours.
distances.
What the hell? 24 hour, like 24
Yes,
real hours?
real-time hours RPG.
Yep.
The hell?
It's kind
They
of
do
like the
that
Holy
in
Grail
real
when I
life.
upload one day to YouTube and be like 24-hour race. Yeah.
Why would anyone do that?
It's sort of like
Why?
Tiger Fox's Iron Bladder.
This just seems insane.
Because RPG, you have to... Did you watch Kaz documentary? And it's like, they're going for the most realistic simulation game ever, and to do that, to capture to capture all the spirit of the game, it has to be 24 hours, just like in Le Mans, when it's like you're racing there 24 hours, because 24-hour races do actually exist in real life. So
How does that even work? Why?
multiple drivers on the same team, driving shifts.
Oh, because I was just about to say this just seems like not a good idea at all. Like, what
The
hell?
ultimate test of the ultimate vehicle, an ultimate race. Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know.
Turismo.
That seems terrible.
But yeah, besides that, the other game I'm playing every day, and it just... Oh, geez, I can't get the picture. What the F?
Which one?
But, Mass Effect 3. So, yeah.
I heard that game is terrible.
This game... I'm playing the multiplayer every day. I'm not playing the single player, but it just drives me crazy because I'm like, all the film ships that have not finished the game, I'm like, dude, that needs to be a thing this summer. Is like the summer shepherd, and I will go through and play with all my characters. But then if I'm doing that, how am I gonna finish my backlog? So it's like, you know what? Let's do it. Challenge accepted. And I can if I can play like 2 games every day, I can totally just like chip it away and like have it be done, because
Or
I'm pretty sure I'm like over halfway done like Mass Effect 2 with all those characters anyway. So
or
or at least finish 2 with all of them. Like 3, I'll come back to you some other time, but not right now, because yeah.
I mean, or you could always just use that time to play games in your backlog since you've already beaten all the Mass Effects like several times over.
I mean, those are like 2 of my favorite games of RPG, so it's like, just like I'm playing Tactics right now, it's like, oh, wait, I mean, not to get ahead of myself, but, when you go back and play a game that you love, and it's like, oh, this is so good, it's like,
I don't know. I
I
don't know.
go back and
Tekken.
play it any time, and it still is awesome.
'Cause, I
But
mean, there are games I love, but I don't play them nearly as much as you do. Your Mass Effect games, so I don't know. It's a bit much.
I guess my dopamine inhibitors are just like way more than yours are, because it's like I just have to look at the game and like see it running, and it's like, oh, I feel so good. Oh yeah, I want to play. Yeah. But yeah, the progress in that game is multiplayer stuff, and I have like 10 more to go, so getting there. And then right now I'm working on the Earth characters, so I did the N7 Shadow Infiltrator, and now I'm going to be playing as the N7 Destroyer Soldier. So that's the next 10 days will be, because it's like I played it every day, so 1 extraction a day, and then like I did the math, like I said this a couple episodes ago, I think it's like 60 days, so 2 months later I will have all the extractions I need, but or I think I'll have all the extractions I need, but I might need some more later on. So, but and then I have to get all my characters. Oh, the promotions! Oh my gosh! Like I'd been playing on PS3 and I still hadn't gotten that done. I'd been playing for months and I still hadn't gotten that done. So I know that's gonna take a while. But at the end of the day, I can just be like, replay value, dudes. Replay value. It's totally worth it if you like that game, because a lot of it to get all the stuff. Not that you need to, but if you want to, it's there. And then yeah, lastly, the most amazingest, well, not the most amazingest, but still awesome and still loving it, Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. And after playing it, I will still say like Tactics Ogre is better, but Final Fantasy Tactics Line War PSP version is still itself a timeless classic that only becomes more bitter with age, just like wine. Yes, and it just I go back and play it. And it's
Whoa.
like the systems are perfect. The story is still great. The characters are still fun, and oh, it's funny too. What I'm doing on my Let's Plays, I'm actually doing the dialogue. So it's like the text bubbles. I will read them in character. So it's like I've made characters for all the characters and voices for all the characters. So it's, and then sometimes I'm playing at like 4 a.m. 4 a.m. So I'm getting a bit weird and crazy with it. So all dramatic-y. But yeah, I made my own fun this time by reading them. I never do that out loud. Like I never read it out loud, like the character voices. But this time I was like, I'm gonna be a super nerd and put it on the internet and see if anybody reacts to it. And yeah, I have no shame. So, but we all know this. So, so Delia talks like me, and then other characters talk all weird. Like Marquis Elbno is all, oh, I have a high voice because I look so effeminate and I have gray hair. But and any person that has like a large body mass will be all, oh well, I talk like this because I have large body mass. So this is probably what I sound like. So I'm trying to get my voice acting chops, maybe, to, if anybody's out there watching BioWare, that sees something they like, just leave a comment or email me, and,
Don't do that.
we can make
BioWare
it happen,
run.
dudes.
Run BioWare. Run far away. It's a trap.
Just play more Tekken like back in my day. We didn't have no
boy.
tactical games on console. It was all about not console.
Yes, they did.
Platforms and stuff, and yeah. But yeah, voice acting. Check it out. Yeah. So yeah.
The hell.
But yeah, I'm almost done with that game. I think I'm at the end. I thought the game was longer than it is because I'm not even 30 hours in, and I'm at the part before you go to the final dungeon. I think I'm almost done. I could finish it. I think I'll finish it tonight, and then just like upload it all and be like, dudes, I need the time that this is taken away by like making 2 videos every day. So it's like, let me get this other 30 minutes to an hour a day back in my life to do stuff. And then yeah, so I'll be all finishing that up, and man, so good. Like it's so fun because like once you know what you're doing and you have like the grasps on like the way the gameplay systems work, and like you can just be so good at it and be like, dude, I'm so good at this. And then like it's cool this time because I found an ability that I knew was good, but I didn't know how good it was. And
How good was it?
And that, oh dude, it is so good. It is like second best good skill in that slot. But,
Second best good skill in that slot. Alrighty.
but like, so like usually I would give like, the ninja's reflexes and then the feather weave cloak, and they become unhittable by physical attacks. And so I was like, okay, that's the route I want to go with those characters. But then I found another route I could go with the non-ninja characters to have them basically be like revived once they get into critical state with like, which is like when you have less than a certain percentage of your HP, and it heals all the way. I think, well, it doesn't heal all the way up, but back to the max it might. But it's like, dude, you get so much more HP, you don't even need to heal yourself. So it's like you can just fight, be almost dead, come back, and just keep fighting. It's like, holy crap. So it's like the critical, I believe it's like critical something HP. It's the monk skill where like if you go into the monk skill where you go to terminal state and then your HP gets like all the way filled back up. So I was like, oh yeah, because like the monks are like one of the best classes as far as like secondary skills anyway, because they have like the air, or not the air. What's called? See, that's the weird thing is like when I play this game, because I play it so much on PS1, I get like the stuff confused on like the changes from the PS1 and PSP version. I'm like, wait, why is it called this again? The name is different here, but it's called Aura Blast in PSP, and then I think it's called Air Render on PS1. So it's like there's that, and then but yeah, they have such awesome skills because they have that, they have Chakra, they have Revive, and so they can just like heal and revive without being a chemist, or not, either not being a chemist or not having the chemist subset of skills. So it's like that's like there's the monk subset of can't talk. The monk subset of skills are just so much better than the chemist ones because they can only heal and debuff. And then you can have that by just having one chemist in your party as opposed to having everybody with the chemist subset. And then you can have the subsets that the monks have, which basically allow you to do damage, heal, and revive, like I just said. So it's like more multi-tiered than the, oh, let me just heal you or give you this item to give you some sort of, oh, that's the other thing, is like monks have purification. So you can like totally take off the debuffs without the items. So it's like you don't.
Hey, they have that in Brave the Default as well.
Oh yeah.
They have a skill that lets them remove stuff from themselves.
But yeah, monks are totally awesome, except for the fact that like they don't wear armor, so they have low HP. So that's why you have to have get the abilities and then switch to something way more awesome, so you can have like not be all naked on the battlefield taking super damage. And yeah, just keep on building on, I guess, of the knowledge I already have of tactics, and it's served me well. And this playthrough has just been like a master class in, if you're not good at this game, Gamer 12, and you'd like to see it played,
Rude.
or you'd like to know how to play it, just check it out, and you should be you can get some tips from an expert. Just saying, not to toot my own horn, but it does feel good tooting it like I did last week. Just toot all the time.
Oh my, there might be kids listening.
But yeah, I think that's all I've been playing. Mass Effect 3 Tactics. Yeah, because I think the only thing else I was playing was Golden Crosshair stuff. That doesn't count because it was like for not very long. So
Golden
that's all
Crosshairs.
That's all I've been playing. I do want to play some Batman, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Do you?
I finally put up that awesome run I had like over a million points. Oh, it's so annoying to watch that because I see the part where I get hit by the shield dude and I'm like, oh, shield dudes, just they always get me. They always effing get me and just like, so it's like, shield dudes, man. Next time I'm coming for you when I play that mode, and I'm totally gonna come back and just like get a super awesome score again. So I'm gonna start playing that every day just to be like, it's like my vision quest. It's like I must have a perfect run and like perfect combo on that one map where you like face down 100 dudes, 100 to 1, and just like kill everybody, just like untouchable, and just, or be untouched, and just like perfect run, perfect combo, and just like that's my goal. I'm like my dream for this game, and like we'll keep coming back to it until you get it. I think once I do it with Batman, I'll be trying to do it with Deathstroke and Bruce Wayne, but like I'd say Bruce Wayne first because he has some pretty good like counters. It's interesting like what they did like on his animations against the martial artist dudes. Like he seems to be more effective against taking them down. He'll like do stuff that's like way more powerful. He'll like throw them down and they'll like be KO'd instantly. But that's enough about Batman and a game I haven't been playing. So let's get back to the podcast and the news. Traffical, take it away.
Sure. Well, MPD was this week, right?
I don't know.
I think it was last week.
I haven't done NPDs in a while.
That's when the whole 2-1, but we're not going to say how many it was, even though we have been saying it. Oh, we're Microsoft. And we change by the day, because that's what we are, 180.
Ha! Get it?
Yeah, like, so apparently PlayStation 4s are selling really well in America versus Xbox
So well.
One.
And also, I'd like to know, Tropical
get them
called
all.
it, he's like, this is totally just early adopters when they like outsold them like during December. And I was like, oh no, Tropical. I don't
Well,
think
they
it's gonna be that
didn't
bad.
outsell them in December, did they?
No, Xbox One
They just-
outsold them, but like it was like they sold all their stock, but then after it was back in the channel, it hasn't been selling. So it's like,
Oh, I thought they sold the same amount. I thought they just said they sold them faster or something.
Well, the thing is, like, Xbox is only available in like North America, Europe, and less territories than the PS4 is. But PS4 is like available in more territories, therefore it's like more stuff to sell in places. So it's like winning in that regard.
Well, in all fairness, other countries don't really like.
Also, it's about to launch in Japan, and then when that happens, it'll be just another peg.
Yeah, it's pretty
notch
crazy.
down.
Like, Sony had initially said that they expect to sell 5 million by the end of March, and they just announced that they've passed the 5.3 million point. That was Monday of this week, and
That's February. It's
yeah,
not March
the
at all.
console doesn't even come out in Japan until the 22nd,
In the
which
mother
is
country.
Saturday. So,
Add another million, just saying, or 500,000.
yeah, that's it's pretty crazy.
When does the Xbox One launch there?
They don't know yet.
Oh,
I just-
so never then? Huh.
Well, see, now we know, like, the Xbox One. So initially, people thought, oh, they're doing it because supply is always an issue, and so, you launch in fewer places, then you have more supply. But now that, like, you go to any store, and I think you can buy Xbox Ones just sitting on the shelves.
Not only that, I don't know if it's because they have them or not, but I noticed that GameStop has been doing like a layaway plan for the Xbox One, but you can't do one for the PS4. So I don't know if it's because they have. I was gonna say it's like I'm assuming it's just because they have Xbox Ones in stock, but they don't have PS4, so they're like, well, sorry.
Yeah, Xbox One, I suppose, is sort of benefiting from there being no PS4s because if you look at like, the weekly ads for all the big retailers, all are like Xbox One, come get Xbox One.
But
Like
are they really
Walmart-
benefiting if they're still sitting on the shelves and no one's
Well,
still? So, I mean, where's the benefit? Because now people's like,
exposure, I suppose. And like Walmart, I think is giving $50 if you buy an Xbox One. They'll give you $50.
They're paying
Like,
you to take them now.
like, oh, buy Xbox One and get $20 off of Live, which was a pretty typical bundle with the 360 also. Yeah, it's insane. This has been a really weird launch actually, because
Has been.
in the past, most consoles at launch would sell a few 100,000, I think, in their first month, and this one has been like, oh, a million on day one in the first 24 hours, a million in the first week, and this is what the Wii U has been out 14 months or something, and they've sold 6
Meanwhile,
million.
I know. It's not. Well, I mean,
it's so funny too because like there's a Nintendo Direct and I didn't even watch it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's like, I still don't care right now about Nintendo.
It's weird because like last gen when the 360 had its year lead on the other two, and it's almost like a reversed from last time. It's like the Wii like came up,
Yeah.
took them all, but then like this time around, it's like all switched. Now the console that was in last is like selling out all over the place.
Talking
Now
about the curse of the year lead.
it's like, oh no.
Dreamcast died.
Yeah.
Xbox 360 eventually, I mean,
Ran out of
clearly
steam.
overtaken by the Wii. Wii U came out a year before and running out of steam. Man, that's weird.
There's a lot of mean things you could say about the Wii, like Sin to Die or Dead on Arrival, but ran out of steam. I'd say it's pretty friendly.
I think it's just this is like Nintendo's like really to blame for this though, because
Yep,
it's like
it's all their
I
fault.
feel like the Wii U isn't a bad console. It's just not being marketed or utilized like it should be.
To me, I look at it and it just looks like business as usual for Nintendo. It's like they're not doing anything differently, and that's the problem. It's like, oh, there will be games in 6 months from now, but they don't even have like Smash Bros. Does that have a date yet?
I don't think so.
Because it's like that's supposed to be the big game for this year, and it's like they need it now. But I remember the other one came out in like March when it was supposed to come out in the winter, so it's like we'll see.
It's like they've
On
gone
game-
through the
on Wii.
trouble- It's like you go through the trouble of making like this console and then having like this unique controller, but then you do nothing with it and just keep on using the same things. Like it's always a new Super Mario Brothers, and it's always some new Mario Kart. So it's like, and they're not. I just feel like they're not using their console like they should be, and it just makes me sad because it's like, you should be doing better than this, but they aren't. So.
An article I read recently was talking about the Wii U and Xbox One, and it was saying, like, the quote was something like, they both have their Wiimote, but neither of them has their Wii Sports.
Yep.
It was referring to the fact that it's like the Wiimote was sort of, I guess you could call it a gimmick, but because it had Wii Sports, like it made sense and everyone understood it. Whereas with the gamepad, we have yet to see the game that makes that make sense, and Kinect, we have yet to see the game that makes that make sense.
And they've had 2 generations to do that, so there's no excuse for that at this point.
And man, I don't know. These thoughts pop into my head when I read these things. Like Nintendo, I feel like they
Happy accident.
yeah, and they weren't positive about that. They thought it was the Nintendo magic, but actually it was just Wii Sports. Because I mean, if you look at later first-party games on the Wii, none of them really used the Wiimote in the way that Wii Sports used it. And some of them just it was like, oh, we don't use any motion stuff at all. And it was like, if Nintendo isn't doing it, what is the hope that anyone else is doing it? And yeah, that's why the Wiimote stuff, like, it all turned out to be, no one figured it out. Like, Wii Sports was the only game. And Kinect is sort of or Microsoft, I always think, is like, did they drink their own Kool-Aid? Like, they talked
Drink their own
about,
Kool-Aid.
look how many 360s we're selling. And then all the sort of conspiracy theory people were like, well, obviously, because people were buying 2, 3, or 4 of them because they keep dying. And it's like, did Microsoft like include those numbers and then forget that they had included those numbers, and they thought, oh, Xbox One will be fine. And then it's like, oh no, we built it too well. No one needs to buy a replacement.
It's like it's backfired.
They drank their own Kool-Aid.
But they also made
And
like I would say that like the decision to include a Connect will like go down as a really bad decision because that is like a barrier
yeah,
to entry. That, oh, here's an extra $100. It doesn't really get you better games or better graphics or games that will run on the Connect that are awesome. But totally worth it.
But you can totally
TV
control your
sports.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I think there was another article saying like why Connect has to be included is because of the IR blaster on the Kinect. Like that's how it works. It shoots out infrared beams and then it measures distance. But in addition to that, the Xbox One sends infrared beams to your TV and all your audio equipment and stuff. And since it blasts them everywhere, like there's no chance it's gonna miss. And so like that's how it controls your TV and things like that. So without Connect, Xbox One, out of the box, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't connect. Like it's an HDMI uh, connector. It can connect two HDMI things together, but it doesn't play Netflix. It doesn't play, any of the apps. It doesn't play. In fact, like the launch ones, they don't play games if you don't have internet or Xbox Live. And then without Connect, it doesn't connect. It doesn't control your TV either. So yeah, that's Xbox One, man, did so many things wrong, and now they're just waiting. It's like, oh, yes, we will turn it around. Titanfall will turn it around.
That's a lot of pressure to put on a game.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Insane. Let's see. Other news. Obviously, lots of good stuff happening on PlayStation. That's not really news, though. Irrational Games, unfortunately, has... What did he call it? He said that Irrational is winding down. Basically, they let go of their entire staff, and then they're going to be... Ken Levine is like, oh, we're going to be working on... and it wasn't specific, but I guess it's like sort of like the Kickstarter model, where except for the money part. So they want to be more interactive with their fan base and make smaller, narrative driven but highly replayable games.
Yeah.
I love narratives.
And so this is not the first time Irrational has disappeared. But yeah, I don't know. Is it sad?
Not
I mean,
for me, because I haven't really
it's
played any of their
I'm
games.
just saying,
yeah, it's like sad for the people who lost their jobs. But
Of course.
being Irrational, like I'm sure they're gonna
Also, we
find.
kind of live in the age where it's just like there's less and less developers and studios, just like one after the other, THQ, yada yada yada.
I mean, like, the thing is, like,
down.
most of us understand Irrational as sort of like Ken Levine's studio. And so the people who like those games, like we feel like he made those games, even though it's teams of hundreds.
Yeah, right.
It feels like he made those games, and so in this situation, he's still making games. He's just working with a smaller team, so it doesn't feel like there's a huge loss. And then all the other people, like lots of studios have reached out to.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, wasn't there something where they said there'd be like a program that they would like try to roll some of them into other studios, or just like they'd like shop them around other third-party developers?
Yeah, and like other developers are recruiting them. Like Sony Santa Monica posted,
Oh, yeah, I
like,
saw
yeah,
that.
for you guys. People want to work at Santa Monica, so that would be a huge thing. But yeah, like lots of studios are posting and say, "Oh yeah, Irrational, like we are looking for people like you, so come to us."
So it's not a total sad story then.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you could say is sort of sad, is like, well, Irrational Games as an entity is gone, but that's happened before. I think after they released BioShock 1, they were turned into 2K something, and Irrational Games was gone. And then later, Irrational Games came back, and then they announced BioShock Infinite, and then we had them around for 3 or 4 years, and now they're gone again.
So are they still doing that Or is someone still working on that Vita thing that was supposed to be for the Bioshock gift or whatever? There's some sort
So
of thing there.
yeah, like that was the one thing I thought was a loss. Like essentially, I think that will be gone unless Bioshock Vita was supposed to be one of these smaller, highly replayable story-driven games. I think it's probably just gone because it was never they never started it. Like they talked about it. He said it was something that he was interested in doing, and then after that, there was lots of articles and tweets and like video interviews where he said, yeah, like it's not up to us. It's up to the business people to make it happen, and then we will make the game. But I guess we never heard anything after that. So I guess the business people that all fell through, or they just weren't interested in pursuing it, and it's gone for now. Probably forever, maybe forever.
Mostly forever.
Yeah. Was there anything else?
There was some video for Order 1886. Looks really good. Really good.
Right, that was this week. That game looks amazing.
I know, I saw that. I was like, yes. I was like, yes.
I'm pretty sure it's all pre-rendered. It's totally not real time.
It's like we've been talking about ever since they like unveiled PS4. It's like it doesn't look in game, but it's in game. It's in game. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing. Oh wait, the deep down thing. We gotta talk about that next. Just saying.
There was no release date for the Order, though. Was there in their thingy, or was there? I missed
autumn
it.
is what they said.
Well, that's
It's
vague.
not set in stone yet.
That's like...
We haven't got to E3 RPG. Who
Actually,
cares?
it was like there was a bunch of Sony events recently. Like there was the one in Santa Monica,
was
which is
there.
what we're hearing about right now. So the info about Infamous Second Son last week and MLB 14 The Show, that was all from that event. They also showed a bunch of other games, which they're slowly trickling out. So we heard that they saw Towerfall Ascension. That got a release date today, March 11th. They played Metrico, which is a Vita game. It's sort of like a platformer based around like charts and graphs, sort of the visual style. And
Wait,
then
what?
it's sort of a puzzle platformer. It looks pretty cool. Then today we saw more information about Hohokam, and yeah, I think Hohokam is gonna have Katamari style charm, and more and more it reminds me of Katamari. At first, when I saw it, I thought it was gonna be like Nobi Nobi Boy, which was
Is that
not
the same
really a
studio,
game, it was
though?
like a toy. But then, yeah, Katamari. Sort of the structure, or having more structure versus Nobi Nobi Boy. Like Hohokam reminds me of that. But yeah, so that's coming out. Actually, I guess that doesn't have a release date yet, but we saw more of that. Then today they showed Helldivers, which is coming from Arrowhead Studios. They made Magica on PC, and it's cross-play between PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. 4-player co-op, dynamically generated maps every time. Most reminds me of Alien Swarm on Steam, except
Alien Swarm.
friendly fire is always on. So it looks very exciting, and I'm really excited for that. That got a sort of release window of early summer.
I'm not buying that game because I can't trust the people I play with.
Get it! It's so
They-
cool.
If you say that now, then next thing you know,
I thought the game was cool.
yeah, yeah.
There was other stuff. Well, as I said, it's sort of trickling out slowly, so we don't know all of them yet. But I imagine there's more, and we will see. Like Wolfenstein today got a release date, May 20th. Apparently, we'll have beta access to the next Doom. Ragnarok Odyssey Ace on PS coming out April 1st.
April Fools.
There was another one.
I don't know what the other one was. I'm sorry.
Me neither. Oh well, I don't remember. Yeah, moving on to the deep down thing. So I missed the initial story. So
So
someone
basically, they were like well, hold on, let me. I think I just lost. Hold on, I know I just scrolled over it. 1 second. But basically, they were doing some sort of presentation on the live stream, and like the dude's like, "Well, it's gonna be 12 characters, but in character creator mode, no female avatars or like no female character models." It's like something he said or something.
And he was like, it's because of the narrative. Of
Yeah,
the
it's like
story.
because of the
It's like-
story, we can't do this.
So there was like a whole bunch of jokes going on Twitter after the fact, because then they were like, because I think another game just got revealed recently. Was it from Harmonix or something?
First person. Oh yeah, the charm.
Chroma?
Chroma.
Chroma, yeah, because when they mentioned like there'll be female playable characters, so they were like, oh, I guess there won't be a story in this game then, because they were kind of just so
That's
they.
funny. I missed
It's
that
like, that's rude. But yeah. But they apparently, because of the way the narrative structure, they couldn't include female playable characters. I'm not completely sure why that would be an issue, unless it's like
Well-
an all male order for something or something rather, or a time period thing. I don't know. I don't know how Deep Down works, because apparently it takes place in the future, even though it looks like.
But there are no
A
women in the
medieval-
future, so
How does that work?
That's weird.
Because how do they reproduce then? 'Cause it's a glaring issue. So,
yeah, so
Okay,
I was like,
yeah.
basically, I'm not going to support this game now. So you know, it's
Well-
already
it's free to
down.
play. So I mean,
So it like later there was apparently a clarification on this, and what the guy said was that it was some sort of translation error.
uh-huh.
Essentially, it's not 12 characters in Deep Down. It's the story, the game stars one main character, and he is male, and so
But you can totally customize him.
right. But it's like like Assassin's
Stop
Creed.
it.
You don't like you have one character. Like they made a character for the game.
Well, they have
And-
female assassins though. I just want
Right,
to point
but like
that out.
you can talk about like, well, how come the main character of Assassin's Creed isn't female? Like you could ask that about any game.
But
You
they
also
made
can
one
Customize
just
him though.
with the female characters, so you know.
They made one. Well, okay, how come Drake isn't a female? How come
He has two
Joel
female
isn't a
companions.
female? How come Mario
female
isn't a female?
too.
How
He has
come
Peach.
it's not there aren't any. Does this make sense? Like what they're saying? It does
No,
make sense, I think
It does
so.
not. You and your justifications. You just
Why does-
don't stop.
Why doesn't it
doing
make
it.
sense?
Well, no, well, I'm not saying that it doesn't, because I see where you're going with this, but I think the thing is, the issue was because you were able to customize your character. They were making a big deal about the fact that you can't, make it female, despite the fact that, like, I see what you're saying, like these other games with their narratives, they have their main male character, but it's not. I think it's just like in those games you can't customize them to any degree. They're just like they're there. It's not a. I don't know. It's kind of hard to.
It's like I think what the original story said was there are only male characters because of the story.
He said
Right.
there are no playable female characters because of the story, or because of the narrative, is what they said. Something like that.
But see, like when you say it that way, it's like the story has no female characters, and that's why there's only male characters, right? That's what he originally was quoted as saying.
I guess. I think that's how.
Because like with the clarification, is like the story is about a male character.
Mhm.
You see how that's different, right?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying like
It doesn't like make it any better that he
or-
said that though. To where it's
Well,
like
no,
we
well-
don't. It seems like he's unapologetic about like the fact that if it wasn't like bad translation, that there's no like option to have a female character in the game.
Well, I think what
I'm
Tropical
saying
was
like
saying is like
why
it's
is
like,
it worse in the case of Deep Down rather than any other game
I think
that
it's just
stars a male character?
I think it was just a customization thing because like people took the fact that you can customize your character and are like, well, why is there no female option? Even
Yeah.
though, like, I see what you're saying is like, yeah, it stars a male character because it's just who the character is. But I think people were just clinging to the fact that you had the option to customize said character, but
Not
you
their-
can't
Yeah, you can't change their gender,
change.
or you can't
Yeah,
customize their gender.
See, because
pretty much just
well,
like locked into it being male, and apparently because the story can't handle a female.
see, like when you
something
say it
is
like
what they're
that,
saying.
it's
Well, no,
really
I'm saying that's
bad.
what. No, well, that's
That's
how
what, like,
I'm not
sounds
saying
like. That's
that.
how it
I'm
comes
saying
across,
that's
though.
how people were reporting. I'm not saying that that's how I took it. I'm just saying that's how people have been. That's how they kind of like been presenting it because they're like, well, he's saying that because of the way the narrative is structured, that they can't have a female lead in the game. So now people are like, well, what's wrong with having? I mean, because then they're like looking at it as like it's sexist because he's saying like he can't structure the story around a female character, so they have to be male, even though you can customize your character and make them however you want, but the story just won't work because they can't work with the female. It's basically how people have been reporting it, despite the fact that even if like what you're saying is like what he's saying is like the game stars a male character because it's just his story kind of thing, then yeah, like it makes sense from that perspective. But I think, like I said, it's just like how it's been presented is caused more problems than it probably needed to, is what
Okay,
happened.
but yeah, like
So it's just like
taking away how it's been presented. Like if you look at the truth of things.
I mean, I'm not saying I had a problem with it. I'm just saying.
Okay, so
like,
okay,
it's like-
Tekken then. Not supporting Deep Down because it doesn't star a female character.
I don't think he didn't say he wasn't supporting it because it didn't star a female. He's saying he wasn't supporting it because they wouldn't allow the
But
Yeah, it's like
since we're saying that is not the case.
no, it's like okay, so like they say, it's like so focus around male character or whatever, and like that's why you can't have a female character. It's like, well, why couldn't they just? To me, it's just weird because it seems like you could have it to where you could have a male or female character and it would work either way.
I mean, like
so.
we don't really know that part yet, but say it's like so Assassin's Creed, it's about Altair,
Yeah.
but he is the avatar of Desmond Miles.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So in this game, it is about, say, Bob, and he is,
It's not a very futuristic name at all.
he is going into the past, and he has these avatars,
Mm-hmm.
and they're male because he's male.
Yeah, but he has female ancestors, so
He does.
why can't he play as them?
Well, like that's the thing. Like we don't know what the game is about. Like we don't know that those are his ancestors. We don't know anything about it.
I don't think it's
I'm
gonna
just saying,
be.
dude, it's like 2014, and like we've had this issue, so it's like, why can't they like try to like make it better or like not? I don't
Or
know.
just
This
include the
doesn't
option to have
help
a-
with all the like the flack that it's been getting in the media.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't have been that hard to just do a gender switch if they really wanted to include like a female custom that option. Because seriously, I can't say that word.
But like,
It's
so if you're talking about that, like, and then they're saying the reason is because of the narrative.
Mhm.
So think of like how, say, Bob wanted to play as a female person in the past. Like,
Mhm.
does that change the narrative? It does, right?
Does it though?
Not really.
Because I mean,
I've
you can
played Mass
still.
Effect 1.
No,
It doesn't really matter what you're a dude
There's
or a
that
lady.
too.
Wait, no. You think it doesn't matter
I
whether
mean, it does, but they're
Shepard
like
is male or female?
there's things that changes, but it's
Well,
not
if
like
anybody knows,
it's
it'd
not
be him,
it's not
so.
anything that's like a detriment to the storyline, where it's like this is super like this extensive change on like the
But
script.
it's different though.
Yeah,
So like, but say,
to me, it's like it's not an extensive enough change to where it merits just completely not having that option there.
Taking it out completely.
Yeah, if you're gonna have like customization, you might as well like be able to change your gender.
but we can't say that with certainty about Deep Down because we don't know anything about it.
Well, I will wait and withhold judgment until more details come out, but I still don't trust him. I still, after this air quotes bad translation, I don't know about that. I think this might just be a let's cover our asses move.
Could be.
Well, we can watch it, and we'll see.
And it's Japan, so you know.
Oh my gosh!
They don't have the best
don't-
track record on. You know.
Don't even.
See, but
don't even
that's what I'm
suspect.
saying, Lou. So it's like, why is Deep Down the villain when
No,
it
I'm just
is
saying
an
it's not-
entire industry
It's not.
problem?
I mean, I'm just saying it's another highlight of like how this is an issue and like it needs to be fixed and like
Well,
how
I'm pretty sure they weren't
progress
saying
made.
just Deep Down was just the only
Yeah,
issue.
and
I think it's just another on top of the
Yeah.
other, they're already there. So it's not like it's everyone's like, "Whoop, Deep Down's the worst thing
It's kinda
ever."
like, it's kind of like the first big flap of this year, so it's like it was kind of like it was front and center when it happened. So it's like, oh, here's the biggest one. Let's pull out our guns and shoot it.
Hmm.
I mean, of course, they're probably scrambling to just add characters now that are female in the story just for the sake of having them. So they're like,
See,
"What?"
I don't know if that's even
So
because like if we consider games to be a creative medium, then you should be able to make it how you want. Like you don't have
Tropical.
to make it.
That's a problem though, because like if you look at like Brink or if you look at Team Fortress 2 and like see now I'm wishing I would have watched the other episodes of Famous Frequency, but whatever. It's like, you know, those are all like dude characters. Like why can't there be any like, female characters? That's kind of messed up.
But see, like those games. Well, first of all, like yeah, you should be able to make it how you want, but you shouldn't expect.
Okay, I agree that you should be like able to make it like how you want, but you shouldn't expect that if you do that when you make it to the exclusion of a certain group of people, there not be any negative feedback from that.
Right.
Mm. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, then we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, right?
I mean,
It's like freedom of speech in this country. You
It
can
is-
say what you want.
in this country,
It just
yeah.
doesn't protect you from
Yeah.
whatever happens
Yeah.
when you say what you want.
Well, it protects you to some degree. Just
You can't be arrested, but you
Yeah.
can still get killed.
Well, I mean,
Really?
yes. I mean, yes, that is true. However, I think, I mean, I kind of agree with you on the whole. I mean, I agree with you though with the whole. I mean, it's their I guess creative project thing. So yeah, they should be able to tell their story how they want to, or include what they want to include. It's just bound to happen when, I guess, when things are like misphrased, or I guess maybe because since he said it was a translation error, maybe I guess if it was like taken in a wrong context or whatever it is, it's like it's bound to just make waves.
Well, in the wrong
that was
context,
your
it sounds a
intention.
lot worse than
So it's
like what you would have probably actually said. But I will wait to see if that's what the case is.
Because the way it was worded when it was reported, a lot of people, they took that and then it pretty much just got twisted into the fact that, well, it's impossible to have a good story in this game because, or it would be impossible to have a good story in this game if it was a female playable character, as opposed to the fact that it was just like, okay, this game is about this guy, and you just happen to be able to customize his appearance so he can be your avatar or whatever. Which, I mean, I guess at the same time is bad for female gamers, but I mean it's still like I don't know. It's just
Can you play as a female in Soul Sacrifice?
you can, yes,
Can, right?
yes.
See, like that's an instance where I think it works either way with the narrative, doesn't it?
It does.
And then the thing is, like, you're not that avatar. You're the person in the jail reading the book, right?
Yeah, yes, kind of. It's
So,
complicated.
like, yeah, like you can make it like that. And so, if Deep Down is guilty for not having female characters, it's not. it's at a more base level, you know, like in the conception, they didn't think of making it sort of gender neutral, or yeah, like gender neutral. And so it's not like executions like, oh, we don't, there are no female characters because story.
That's just pretty much though how they kind of, you know, like I said,
That's
they
how
kind of like
it-
twisted it to making it seem
Yeah, like that's
like
why it
necessarily-
seems bad. But when they put it the other way, it's like, well, then it's the more typical the industry is dominated by men thing. And it's
That
like,
is
well, we
true.
already know that. It's like that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, part of it anyway.
That's true. Because I think that problem is also caused by the game industry being really unstable. Say, oh, we finished the game! Hooray, everyone! You're fired. I have kids.
Yeah, that sounds personal, but thanks for all your hard work. But it's kind of true though, because that has kind of been a
Congratulations,
thing
everyone,
recently.
you're done. Your services are no longer required.
It's like, but what about future games? Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
We'll get new people.
It's like, well, yeah. The whole industry is kind of there's a lot of issues, but like I said, there's always gonna be like that scapegoat or something that they can just latch on to. And I mean, unfortunately, this time it just happened to be Deep Down because it was bound to happen. So they just happened to get hit with it. So.
Yes.
This is why, when I first saw the story, the only thing that went through my mind was like, God, this is gonna suck for whoever has to PR up for this, because it's like now they have to deal with people twisting words, and it's like now you have to play cleanup and all this stuff, and it's like I can only imagine their face as he was like speaking the sentence, and they're just like, no, just man, I would not want to work in PR. That's awful, because it's just or be a publicist.
I don't know about Deep Down yet, so we'll have to see about that one. But yeah,
Well,
in general,
I'm
like I
this.
don't think every game has to have female playable characters,
Yes, they do.
I don't know, tropical.
because that doesn't.
That's a problem.
No. Now we're gonna be in the news next week. It's like,
You know, in the same vein, I don't think every game needs to have male playable characters.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, as far as like, you know, it should fit the vision of whatever the person is trying to make.
Yeah.
But if like, I mean, if the option's there where you have like multiple playable characters, I mean, I see what you're saying.
I think that's
That's
what
that's the thing with like Deep Down. If like it's a game like you can have like customization and whatnot, then you should have like it should extend to like the gender option.
because like if you couldn't customize him like at all, and it was just like, this is the story of this guy and he has to do this stuff, then people probably would have been like, oh, okay. But the fact that he went out of his way to not only mention that you can customize said character, but there won't be any playable female characters, because I think that's what the issue was. It's like you kind of like went out of your way to say these things as opposed to just
like,
being like,
now
well,
that's the thing. Like, I'm wondering, like, is that what he said? Because that feels like a weird thing to say unless you wanted to be the target of stuff.
maybe he's trying to distract people from the fact that
And
there's
so-
no release date. It's like, yes,
Game is delayed.
So we'll still have publicity, but
don't be sad about that. There's no women in it.
oh,
Yeah, just so you guys know, we're kind of,
now we have to still talk about this game even though it's not out yet.
We're kind of like running short on time. We need to like wrap it up. Just
Are
so
we?
you guys know.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'd like the TR limit.
We're just playing now, so like we do.
Wait, that's another-
But yeah, no, we will see on this one then.
we will.
And now I'm really interested, 'cause
That's how they got you. That was the plan. It's like, now they
No,
have-
not interested in the game. I'm interested in the
Oh, you may not be interested in
live
the game
stream.
now. It's like,
it's gonna be on everybody's mind, even if it's like because like you associate it with the game, so it's out there. It has its publicity now, so it's like, oh, that's that game. So now everybody's gonna be thinking about it. So until it actually comes out, it's in your head. They're inside you now.
Strange. Anyway, yeah, that was fun. ABZ. So next week we'll see how the PS2 thing goes.
Burp.
Alright, so check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, internet's aimlessbabblez.com. And until next episode, we are now signing off.